This is not Santa's workshop.
The Walt Disney Company is considered one of the greatest mass media corporations in the world, with its current net worth being estimated at just under $45.5 billion. And with such success, it's no surprise that entrepreneurs and business owners in the world over have been studying the man who started it all in an attempt to replicate what he created. But what do we actually know about Walt Disney, and are there any lessons we can learn from his brilliant business life? Well, whether you're a fan of the man or you just want to know how he was able to make such a success out of his career, stay right where you are, as we're going to explore what made Walt Disney so incredible. So strap yourselves in and get ready for a life lesson, as things are about to get informative. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit the post notification bell so you don't miss anything else from us. You can't succeed unless you sell. Walt Disney was clearly beyond his time, creating an empire out of nothing but pure imagination and a dream. Few people in this world have changed the entertainment industry quite like he has, with the Walt Disney Company currently retaining ownership over popular franchises like Marvel, Star Wars, and of course the classic Disney properties that range from Beauty and the Beast to Little Mermaid. And when it comes to children's shows, nobody does it quite like Disney, with the Disney Channel and recent streaming edition of Disney Plus presenting kids and adults alike with countless recipes for a good time. What we need to remember though is that his dream of this didn't become successful overnight. Walt was once quoted as saying that the biggest problem he ever faced was surprisingly money, as it cost so much money to make his dream come true. Because of the insane cost of building an empire, Disney had to do what everyone in the world hates, which is both sell himself and his product. Sales do have quite a bad reputation after all. Just think of all the jobs that revolve around sales, from telemarketers to salesmen in general, and you'll see what we mean by this statement. But since dreams cost money, and the only way to make money is to sell, Walt Disney had to do his best to make sure that people believed in his products just as much as he believed in them. Did you know, for example, that halfway through the creation of Snow White, Disney ran out of money? Well, rather than giving up like his family was begging him to do, Disney personally traveled to different producers and showed them the raw footage that had been captured. After selling them the idea of this new form of animation, Disney was able to secure funding and finished Snow White shortly thereafter. And as we're well aware, Snow White became an instant success, ushering in what is referred to as the golden age of animation. Also, you need to remember that in order to fund the rides at Disneyland, he persuaded television studios to finance the buildings in exchange for original Disney programming, which was essentially free advertising for the park. So if you want to be successful like Disney, you need to remember that he did everything he could to own his dream. And once you've done that, you're halfway there. Always be the leader in your field. The second step to success, according to Walt Disney, is to become the type of leader that people not only have to follow, but want to follow. In his own words, quote, "You can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality." And when it came to Walt Disney, the key to his leadership was the fact that he was such an amazing storyteller. Rather than telling his employees to do something, he would inspire them to take action. According to those who knew Walt when he was alive, he used to weave a story and involve his employees to take on roles so that they could essentially complete the story themselves. In fact, Walt would describe himself as a terrible animator and was known to hire people that were a lot better at the job than he was. It was only by being an incredible leader that you can surround yourself with talented people and ensure that their attention is coordinated toward a common goal. And Walt would ensure this by writing a story and then acting out all the specific parts when surrounded by these professionals, similar to what we now see in table reads across the nation. But back then, it was completely new, and Walt Disney was the one who introduced it to us all. Lastly, in order to make sure that he was always being the greatest leader that he could be, Walt Disney ensured that he knew each and every one of his employees. And when it came to their work, he never accepted anything other than the best that they could manage. This way, the Walt Disney Company was always pushing out brilliant pieces of animation with tightly woven stories to be enjoyed by all. Never stop improving. There's no doubt that Walt Disney was a pioneer in his field. He was always thinking of the future and making sure that he was able to bring new and exciting things to both animation and the world in general. He insisted, for example, that Steamboat Willie would have his sound synced and recorded, which was unheard of when it came to the cartoons of the time. It must also be said that before Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, there was no such thing as a feature-length animation film. This meant that the overall success of Snow White was not only pocketing him him a lot of money, but changed the film industry as a whole. Without this move, we wouldn't have experienced the wonders of Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, or even Fantasia. And although this would have been enough for anyone else in the world, Walt Disney lived according to his own code, where he made sure that he never stopped improving the things he was doing. He once said, quote, "Whenever I go on a ride, I'm always thinking of what's wrong with the thing and how it can be improved." In other words, Disney didn't simply have an off switch, and even after building Disneyland, would walk around the park and occasionally ask the patrons their opinions on what he could improve next. He would then make absolutely sure that the specific changes were made by following up on them himself. Tolerate calculated risks as much as possible. Strangely enough, historians can never say that Walt Disney took a lot of risks when it came down to creating his empire, as the empire itself was a risk in itself. Walt Disney was essentially introducing the world to something new with his feature-length animated films, as well as theme parks, which were based on the principle that fans would come to enjoy his franchise. On more than a couple of occasions, Walt had to even mortgage or sell his personal assets in order to make sure that both the parks and animations were getting the right amount of traction in the world. Disneyland is still considered to by many to have been the biggest gamble in the history of American business. The innovator struggled to find funding, and his own family, including his business partner and brother Roy Disney, begging him to stop pushing the threshold. It looked as if failure was around the corner, and the failure of the park would have bankrupted Walt Disney 10 times over. But although everyone around him was saying how impossible a venture like Disneyland was, Walt pushed forward and created a theme park which is still to this day one of the greatest in the world. Not bad for a risk, considering that these parks bring in millions of revenue and millions of visitors each and every year. But once more, it needs to be said that all you need to do is believe in your dreams as much as Disney before you decide to risk it all. Disney wanted this more than anything and wouldn't have minded going bankrupt as a result of this move. So unless you first feel this way about what you want to do, make sure that the risk is calculated. Then take the leap like Disney did and make sure that your dreams become a reality. Stop looking at failure like it's something negative. Fans of the House of Mouse might not know this, but Walt Disney actually failed quite a lot. His first studio was called Laurograms and never once made a profit. Then came the debacle that was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, resulting in a contradicting dispute that lost Walt Disney everything, from his studio to the rights to the character, to his animators, and even his equipment. But if it wasn't for this gigantic failure of his, Walt Disney might have never created one of the most popular cartoon characters ever. We're of course talking about Mickey Mouse, who is still considered to be the mascot of the Walt Disney Company. When talking about failure and how he treated it, Walt Disney was recorded as saying the following, quote, "All the adversity I've had in my life, all the troubles and obstacles have strengthened me. You may not realize it when it happens, but a kick in the teeth may be the best thing in the world for you." And it was this perception of failure as something that could propel you forward rather than keep you back, which was forming the backbone of every single success that Walt Disney created. So, to become the type of businessman that he was, the same mindset needs to be created. That being said, it's much easier said than done. Believe in yourself. Walt Disney clearly believed in his dream, which led him saying that when you believe in something, you need to believe it all the way if you truly want for it to be a success. But this belief in a dream is only half the battle. You also need to believe that you're able to reach that dream yourself with the help of some excellent people. Walt actually had a very strange relationship with his brother and business partner. He would tell Roy these insane dreams, and Roy would try to talk him out of it. But Walt would continue on until Roy finally gave in and tried to get the idea financed. He made sure to believe in himself when nobody else did. When people said that Disneyland would be a complete failure, he built it out of nothing anyway. And even when critics had stated that a mouse as a mascot was a terrible idea because it would scare women, he made sure that Mickey Mouse was known by everyone as the best cartoon character created. So, if you've got an idea, go for it, and believe that you can reach your dream. What do you think about Walt Disney and his life lessons? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below, and also don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.